Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Andrea and I'm a music photographer based in London, and I do videos mostly about that. So today I am not in London, and I don't think today is going to be a lot about music photography either, but this weekend I came to Portugal to be with my family. There were a couple things I had to do here, so I came here to have a little respite, a little break from London, because I was kind of feeling a little burnt out, a little overwhelmed by all the news. I mean, I want to pay attention to everything and be aware of everything, but also sometimes you have to disconnect from all of that and reconnect with yourself and your friends and things that bring you joy, because I was literally on the brink of a panic every day for a little bit. So today's video is going to be a little break from everything, a little break from work, a little break from stress, and I'm just gonna focus on some of the positive things that I have in my life. So I'm gonna do a little bit of animal therapy. You're gonna meet some of our family pets, and I might give you guys a little book haul, because on the airport I decided to buy a bunch of books that I've been meaning to read. I've always read a lot since I was very young, but I go through these reading phases where I read nonstop and then I stop. So I'm back in a reading phase, so I might give you guys a little book haul in a little bit. But I want to see my beloved pets. Where are they?
Tu és uma coisa insuportável. Vou ter que começar por aqui então, casinha.
What a spa day! A spa day! Cacau, você que fique e se prepare, né? Pro Big Boss to brush you. Oh, you're so cute. The dogs are done, and now it is time for the big puppies. Lulu, você tá aqui? Dá de morrer.
Fica sempre a 2 metros de distância por quê? Vamos dar um trato de cada vez, né? Cabeçudo. Tu é um cabeçudo. Um cabeçudo. Este rabiota aqui.
So dusty.
Depois de um inverno, muita chuva. Massagem. Uma massagenzinha. Só eu mesmo, né?
I thought I would give you guys a little book haul that I gathered on the way to Portugal. So basically an airport book haul. And for an added element of therapy, I thought we would have my dad bathing our horse in the background. I'm currently balancing the camera on the books that I want to talk about, so I might have to move them around a little bit. This is going to be a challenge for many reasons, but okay, Bali. So the first book in my haul is Wuthering Heights, because I actually did not buy this at the airport, but I did have it with me. It was the book that I was finishing before I arrived, and I did. So I read about 100 books, so I read about 100 pages on the plane, and I did enjoy it, but I will say it was very different than what I expected it to be. I grew up hearing a lot about this book, and I guess my expectations were very high, or not even high, they were just different to what the book actually was. I did like it, I just liked it in a different way than I expected. I thought it would be a more classic love story, also because of the time that it was written, but it was very different. I think it was a little bit more so a story about passion. And with passion comes hatred and envy and revenge, but also love. And I think it was a mixture of all of that. So I did enjoy it. It was a little bit hard to get through just because of the period it was written in. But once you kind of attune to the language, you can read it all right. But yeah, so it was definitely an interesting read. I am glad that I finished it, because I want to watch the new Wuthering Heights movie that came out, and I already know that it's a quite controversial one. A lot of people hated it, a lot of people loved it. I personally am gonna go into it knowing not to expect it to be like a literal, translation of the original book. I know it's gonna be more of an interpretation, and I think the trouble people are having is that that interpretation has maybe not been done with the most care or whatever it is. But anyway, I now want to watch the movie as well. I wanted to go into it knowing the story so that I could better understand the artistic freedoms that the director took. So that's not part of the haul, but I did want to include it here. Oh my gosh, Bali, I've had enough. Please let me be a star. Okay, so next book that I got, good old Frankenstein. So I've never read this, and I've always wanted to, and it's actually a lot shorter than I expected, which is neither good or bad, but something that I've learned recently is that Mary Shelley actually wrote this when she was 19 years old. That is so impressive. So I'm very excited to read this. I think this is the book that I'm going to read next because it is shorter, and it's kind of in line with the Wuthering Heights time period a little bit. So since I'm already kind of in that frequency, I thought that I would carry on and finish this one. And I picked this up, I mean, I've had this book for years, but I also picked it up because I wanted to see the new Frankenstein movie. And I wanted to maybe read it before, but I didn't have time to read it, so I did watch the movie. And I really did enjoy it for the most part, especially the second part of the movie. But yeah, I think this is what I'm going to read next. But now to like the actual new books that I bought. Hamnet. And I know this book is not that old, but I've also noticed that a lot of the books that I've shown you are of movies that are also coming out, or like re-edition of movies that are coming out now. And these are all stories that I would have liked to read anyway in my life because they are classics. But it's also like a bigger motivator having more of a deadline to read them. So I kind of enjoy that. If there are books that I've had for ages and there's a reason to maybe pick them up instead of reading another book, that's why I get incentivated to read, Wuthering Heights, Frankenstein. And even though I've had them for years, when there's like a movie that I can watch in the cinema, and if I haven't read the books yet, I like to go and read it. So something similar to this also happened. And this one was actually from a recommendation. Apparently the movie is very, very good. Apparently the book is very well written. So I grabbed that. And then the next one I have is A Little Life. As I'm sure a lot of you have as well. I've heard a lot about this book for many years, I want to say. And the common thing that everybody says is that it is like devastating and it's very, very sad and very intense. So I've been holding off reading it for a little while just because I've been in a bit of a fragile state right now, and I was just scared of what this might unleash in me. But hopefully it's not too heavy and too depressing. Even if it is, that's okay. I'm going into it being aware of that. So that's also why I'm trying to time it, in a better way. So spring is coming, so maybe now is a safer time to read this. And I might read Hamnet, and then I think this one is next. So I'm very excited. Also, I'm sorry, I noticed that I'm trying to talk to you about these books, but I haven't read them, so I don't really know what to say. But I guess I'm just trying to tell you guys why I want to read them and why I picked them up. I was flirting with the idea of getting the hardcover version of this because it's so beautiful, but it's such a long book. I think it's going to take me a while to read, and I don't particularly enjoy reading hardcover books, especially if it's going to be a longer read. So I got this one, which is the classic. I prefer this version to the one that just has the title on it. Actually, my expectations are very high for this, so I hope they are reached. I mean, I'm sure it's a very good book. And then I grabbed this, Murakami's What I Talk About When I Talk About Running. So I've read a lot of his novels, and I, for the most part, really do love them. I will say I do find Murakami to be sometimes a little misogynistic. Even though I love his work, I love the way he writes and stuff, the way he writes about women sometimes is not my favorite, and I do find it a little exhausting if I read too much Murakami back to back, which is kind of what I did a few years ago. I read maybe 3 back to back, and although I do love it, I noticed certain patterns that I found a little, I don't know, just I got tired of it basically. It just kind of annoyed me a little bit. But this one is a short little one that I don't think is really about women at all. I could be wrong, I actually don't know, but I think he took up running, and it is sort of the revelations he had about that and how his life changed because of that. And I don't know, it's like a short read, and I really wanted to try this out. And then the last book that I have, maybe I should have put this one first. Be careful about me with the camera. So I've seen this book around for a little while, and I feel like sometimes with these kind of books, it can be a little gimmicky, and they target people when they're in fragile moments. But I don't know, I had a little peek in it, and I think it seems pretty easily digestible and pretty interesting. So it's Don't Believe Everything You Think. And my plan is to grab a highlighter and go through this and highlight a couple little things and see if I can relax. Because if there's one thing about me is that I think a lot, and to the point where, you know, it freezes me. It makes it impossible for me to make decisions, to move forward with like certain ideas, to leave the house sometimes. I will overthink myself out of a lot of things. And just like I think everyone, I think sometimes I believe that what I think is who I am, but apparently that's not exactly true. Like your thoughts can go against you, can go against what you want to do, can sabotage you. And I think it's important to sometimes separate your thoughts from who you actually are, from yourself. And I think this will be a little bit helpful. So it also says, why you're thinking is the beginning and end of suffering. So I'm hoping that this will help me out a little bit. And yeah, like I said, the idea is to kind of read this a little bit casually, maybe not back to back, because they do get a little repetitive, these kind of books. But I do want to read, highlight, and hopefully chill out. But yeah, that's my haul. Thank you guys for keeping me company, and thank you for all my animals for the amazing therapy. This is what I'm dealing with right now. Here's my other favorite therapist. Oh, here comes Spider. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. And now my dad wants some attention.
Primeiro banho do ano.
Que cheirinho bom. I literally can't hang out with any other pet without Bali coming to sabotage. Maybe this will be it for this video, or maybe I will continue to vlog a little bit tomorrow or when I'm back in London. I'm not sure if this video is long enough for it to be its own vlog, so we'll see. Oh, delicious. You truly, huh? You are truly. In case this is the end of the video, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next one. And hopefully, or not, I don't know what you guys prefer, but maybe the next one will be about music photography, and I'll be back in London probably. But yeah, thanks for sticking around with me. At the moment, this is the sort of content that I am gravitating towards, just because just feeling a little bit burnt out of working or just talking about work. I just want to chill with you guys and hopefully just talk about more chill things and hang out. But yeah, all right, bye.